live with me today. There is no guarantee, just a heads up for everyone, there is no guarantee whatsoever that my internet connection will actually be agreeing with me today. I'm hoping that we are sufficient, that we're able to do this and have a good time with it all. Hello, everyone. Just as a little heads up, do not expect any instant interaction with me because I do have a fairly high delay. I forgot the latency. Fairly high latency between when I say something and when all of you fine folks will see it. Again, largely because of the iffy at best connection. But I don't need this on my head right now. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. I'm feeling a little nervous for some reason. It might be something to do with the fact that this live stream might get a little political. But on that note, hello, everyone. It's lovely to have you all with me. Lovely to see you all here. Right off of the bat, even before I say hello to anyone in particular, I feel like it is important to cover something. The nature of this live stream is obviously kind of inherently politicized. This is a very political sort of thing that we're going to be talking about today, which is not normally what I do. Now, that being said, my purpose here today is not political. As I say in the video description, or the live stream description below, I am a very big fan of military parades. This includes for countries that I like and for countries that I do not like. I will watch the Victory Day Parade in Russia. I will watch the Trooping of the Color, Bastille Day Parade, Indian, I think Republic Day is what they call it, Mexican Independence, all these different things, right? I'm a really big fan of military parades, be they the good guy NATO countries or like Russia and China or Iran or anything like that, which obviously I'm not as much of a fan of. I like to think, right, that the dog does have a grenadier cap. He's very cute. We like him here. I'm a big fan of military parades, right, regardless of the context within which they are placed. And so, I want to watch this parade, right, this ceremony, on its own terms, right? The North Korean troops marching to peace. Yes, I do know that one. North Koreans, I'm not a very big fan of their parading style. They sort of like bounce in a weird way when they march. Oh, thank you. My take on the parade, non-politically, synchronized shuffling. See, that's what we're here all about. We're here to talk about the synchronized shuffling. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it well performed? Could it use some work? What is the nature of this parade? Thank you, Tree Check. I appreciate your generosity. That's very kind of you. I appreciate your being here. So, parades are not inherently political. It's an art form. Don't forget Chile. Well, now, is there such a thing as non-political art? Ooh, now we're getting into all sorts of theoretical things. But that's not why we're here, right? The way that I am looking at it, so the way that I see it, right, is that 8 weeks, months, whatever it was, however long they've been talking about this, before the first soldier ever even stepped foot on a staging ground, half of this country decided that the parade was going to be abysmal, embarrassing, shameful, blah, 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 right? Because they're partisan. The other half was like, this is going to be the greatest, best thing ever, blah, 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 make America something or other, because they also were being partisan about it. Now, I am not going to pretend that I am without my biases, okay? In fact, I think my biases have been pretty clear when they've come up, rarely, but when they have come up in videos. I am not a fan, to put it very lightly, of the Trump administration, of the man himself. I don't want to get into why, but I have very strong opinions about why I dislike basically everything the guy has ever done. Like 99% or so of everything that he's ever done. But that's why I said in the very beginning, like, hey, look, I don't like Russia. As far as I'm concerned, we should have been at war with Russia for a while. But you know what? They do a heckin' good parade. And I like watching their parade because I like military parades. China, I'm really not a fan of the CCP, but you know what? They can put on a pretty decent parade. Even, Allah forgive me for saying this, the French, strong language, I know, strong language, but even the French, they could put on a pretty decent parade with Bastille Day, right? I mean, that's I like a good military parade. And so I am going to be approaching this parade as objectively, I hope, as I am able to. I want to talk about the parade on its own for its own merits. Trump could have stood up and outright said, this is going to be my birthday parade. I hate everyone. This is all about me and blah, 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 right? Like, it could have been every, like, basically it could have been like the liberal Americans' like worst nightmare of the guy, like made manifest. He could have declared martial law during the whole, whatever, like fair dues, right? Like whatever, but I would still want to watch the parade because I like military parades. Okay, it's just like it's a thing that I do. I mean, I enjoy watching Soviet parades and Nazi parades to talk about the absolute extremes. So whatever, you know, the current American administration puts forward, I'll give it a look. So with all of that being said, Private Rojas, $2. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. The old guard make an appearance. Ha ha! I have my opinions about the old guard, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Now, all of that being said, there is one more. I'm sorry, Salmon Crusader. I know that the F word, the French, it's not good, you know. So all of that being said, right, all the disclaimers here that we're not here explicitly politically. Obviously, I have my biases, but I'm hoping that I can be more objective than that because I'm not going to try and view this or criticize it or talk about it in a political sense. But that being said, so I have tried my best to avoid spoilers. Are we losing? Use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. What is my keyframe frequency? I have no idea what a keyframe frequency actually is. We got a lot of viewers right now. Is that I'm just gonna have to keep on going, I suppose. Here's hoping that you all actually can still hear me and everything. I try to avoid spoilers, right? That is my overall point. I try to avoid spoilers coming into the parade. Because I wanted to have to be like a blind viewing first time around, right? But I have received some spoilers, and based upon those spoilers, oh boy, I saw like 2 clips of the parade, and they did not exactly inspire confidence. I saw one clip of a Sherman, which is really cool. If they got Shermans, especially if they're in any number, I'm really excited to see the Shermans. Although the clip that I saw was a little embarrassing because there was like not a lot of people in the bleachers. That one's been like really going around lately, apparently. That could just be one part of it. We'll see. We'll see what the appearance is like. But I've also heard, I have not seen this, but I saw people in the chat beforehand talking about it, and we'll have to see how truthful it is. I've heard that there were literal like corporate sponsors for this military parade, which is a vibe, you might say. When already you have an administration that like I don't even say has the reputation, but it's like blatantly has like scammed people in the past with like literal crypto scams and whatnot. It's kind of crazy then that same administration is gonna be like, oh yeah, we'll have corporate sponsors for our 250th like military and like talk about not trying to hide it. And also apparently the music choices have been interesting, as well as I've been told, to say the least, rather poor renditions, portrayals, whatever, rather poor representations of the history in question. So, my dear friends, my dear viewers, that is all of that. My chair, I'm realizing now, is like squeaking like crazy. I apologize. There is not much that I can do about that. I'm actually getting a new chair soon, so the next stream will be better. We have 202 concurrent viewers right now. Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Let us begin then, my dear viewers. Let me know how the audio is, first of all. I think the first few seconds here are without audio, but let us begin. Incidentally, if you're curious, this is the Wall Street Journal's version of the stream. Let's just skip ahead a little bit here. Let's see here. Well, no, oh, that's the other thing is that if there's any long periods of just like talking or anything like this, obviously I'm gonna skip through this. Stream dying on me. If there's any like long-winded political bloviating, then I'm gonna skip through that and everything. Okay, are we still good? I'm worried about the internet connection here. It says the keyframe frequency, but I don't know what that means. The keyframe frequency is 8.3 seconds. Note the ingestion errors can cause incorrect GOP group of pictures sizes. I don't. The machine is appeased. Let's everyone say a prayer to the machine spirit, and we'll see if we can't make that. Unless, is there anything that I can do on this side of things really quickly? Just because if we're gonna like get started with things, I want to like make sure that we are in the best possible position, right? Output, video bitrate, audio bitrate, encoder, replay buffer, video, FPS, output, scaled resolution. None of this is what I need. It says you have to fix this thing, but I have no idea what the thing is, how you actually go about fixing it. Oh well, I guess we will, we'll just go on as best we can, and ultimately if it doesn't work out, then we'll have the VOD, and we will have the VOD go live. All right, so let's just skip around a little bit. Skip ahead a bit here. See what we can find. Oh! Hold on now. Okay. Wait, is this live footage? Because that's obviously not audio playing from the actual parade, so I'm not sure what. I feel like we're gonna like go on an adventure with like Link. We're gonna try and save Hyrule or something right now. The music is very adventure feeling. Is this video game music? Because it really sounds like video game music. King's Quest OST. Okay, we're off to a great start. We're off to a great start. Seeing the great big podium platform. Alright, so we're just getting like heroic music. Okay, are we gonna have a gun salute? Oh, no. Helicopter? Okay. Are they actually playing? Because why would they not give us that audio? It really is like menu music, yeah. Main menu music. What?
Forged in the fires of revolution, tested on today's front lines of freedom. Before there was a nation, there was the United States Army. From the hallowed ground of Yorktown's first stand to the unwavering readiness at Fort Bragg today, and onward to West Point's next generation of leaders. For 250 years, one force has stood.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to get like overly political things like I said, but or like talking about the political figures and whatnot. But like, hold on. Can we just talk about how like this was the best shot they could have chosen? Hold on, wait. This is all pretty good. This all looks good. This was the best angle they could have had. Like, come on, let's.
Next generation of leaders.
It's starting to feel a little bit like we should join the Helldivers.
One force has stood ready.
That looks good so far.
Unmatched, unbreakable. And today, the legacy rolls on. This is the United States Army's 250th
Continental Army doesn't equal the United States Army. I mean, I think that's the sort of thing that like we're really starting to split hairs there. And like, I don't mind. It obviously the tradition is coming from the Continentals, so I'm okay.
General Dan Kane.
Okay, pretty standard. I'm not sure how I feel about having the two Abrams sort of like on the platform reaching out. It's like, it feels like a little hokey. like the way they do it, like at the Trooping in the Color, for example, is they'll have like a couple of like guys on horses or whatever. I know, like on either side of the platform. All right, we just got the walkout. We can skip forward.
Welcome the Secretary of Defense.
I do love these new, like, more World War II inspired.
United States.
I'm not going to say anything. And we're going to have POTUS. So there's also something else actually that I feel like I should mention here is, I've already said my bit about how I like parades. And, like, I'm not inherently, like, again, I'm not a fan of this guy or anything, but I'm not inherently opposed to the idea of, like, having regular military parades. I like military parades, and I feel like the United States should have a stronger tradition of them. Honestly, even if this parade was, like, explicitly for Donald Trump's, like, birthday or whatever, it's like, again, like, under any other president, I'd be, like, literally all for it. With this guy, there's a lot of other, like, layers and baggage, but, like, even then, in principle, it's like, well, you know what? The president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. It makes sense to me to have, like, a day of the year where the CIC is able to inspect their troops marching by them, right? Like, I'm not opposed to that in principle. Obviously, there's a whole lot more baggage with this flipping thing we got, but, like, in principle, I'm not opposed to that. And, like, there was this interview that I saw of, not that I saw, but that I saw the headline of. It's like, apparently some general said something about how, like, oh, military parades are what dictators do, it's not what we do. It's like, well, that's not correct. That's really honestly kind of stupid, because like most every nation in the world has military parades and inspections on a regular basis. It's not like this weird thing that only North Korea does, that only China does. It's like the Pope has a flipping military parade on occasion, I'm pretty sure. Obviously the British and the French, the Italians, the Germans, like everyone does this, right? So yeah. Armed Forces Day, yeah, it's like it makes sense to have that kind of thing happen, I think. So, you know. Oh god, the chanting. We can skip through that. Bloviation. Okay, so far everything is pretty standard. Singing the anthem. We have parades in Brazil? Yeah, Brazil. Mexico has flipping amazing military parades. Chile obviously has the very Prussian style, which is really cool. Yeah, it's a standard thing. And, like, you can't stand up and say, like, oh, military parade must be a dictator. Because it's like, well, look, there's a lot of stuff you can point to in that argument, but a parade isn't one of them. I disagree, Johnny, that a parade makes you look like you're overcompensating. I think that it's a way to... It doesn't have to be an international focused thing. A parade is for the domestic population to see their military, to interact with it, to better understand how it functions, and to take pride in it. And then it's also a way for the military to actually... There's, I think, disciplinarian value, however you'd say that. There's value in discipline in putting on parades.
Small, unorganized group of shop owners and farmers, but they fought the most powerful army in the entire world to a standstill in Concord.
By what? No! Get out of here! What? By what standard? Everyone always goes on about this nonsense. We're getting right up to it. All these random ragtag people who had no idea what they were doing fought off the greatest army in the world. But okay, at the beginning of the war, the average British soldier was just as experienced, honestly, probably, if not even less so, in combat than the average American was. Like, the guys at, like, flipping Lexington had never fired a shot in anger for the most part. Now, there were some old veterans there, absolutely. General Gage was an old veteran. But, like, by what measure were they the world's great? Were they the best trained? No, not by any stretch. In fact, there are a lot of accounts from early on in the war of basically British officers writing about how, like, our guys are not up to standard. They do not know what they're doing. We need to, like, fix ourselves up, because if it's going to become the war, it's a whole thing. So no, they were not the greatest army in the world. They were not the largest army in the world. That would either be the, someone mentioned the Prussians, either them or the French. It's probably the French at the time. Or the Russians. But the Russians definitely weren't the best. The French were probably the best at the time. No, all this stuff, it's whatever. It's not why we're here. But no, I hate this stupid, oh, we had to fight the biggest and the best empire in the world because otherwise it doesn't count.
Chose George Washington as general of our Continental Army.
But it wasn't until 1 year later, on July 4th, 1776, that news arrived of the signing of our Declaration of Independence.
Now we had a new army and a new nation.
With little gunpowder, no shoes, bloody feet, few cannons, little training, and even less food.
Valley Forge started in December. They went into
I mean,
winter camp in
at
December
some
of
points, yes. At some points, no.
1777. Approximately 2,000 Americans died that winter of disease.
They lived through hell, but they never ever gave up. Not this army, not this first American army.
Finally, Washington and his army arrived. Here at Yorktown,
this is what I was
we had
hoping you'd
General
do. Pause
Cornwallis
the video and
his
make
powerful British army trapped in this city against the sea.
All of the
Okay,
preparation that Washington has learned through the course of those 6.5 years meets its full force here at Yorktown, and he employs it brilliantly.
And the French.
Sailing from the Caribbean,
There's the French Navy.
The French Navy arrived.
Okay,
and took
good,
on the British
good.
fleet.
Washington decided to make his move. Our men began digging to get closer and closer to the
Private
border.
Rojas, another
Finally,
5.
with
Thank you,
rifle
sir.
and
It's very
cannon.
generous of you. They claim that the
Naturally,
British had no
George
light infantry. I'm gonna cry. I don't think they're gonna talk that specific. I realize we can. This is auto-generated, but at least it's a little.
Set off our first cannon shot.
The British had 2 small forts in front of the main fort. They were called redoubts 9 and 10.
Then,
Yep.
on the moonless night of October 14th,
It seems
the
kind of
American
weird that we're
forces
going into. Why
attacked the
Yorktown?
redoubts.
Why are we
The
going into like all this
hand-to-hand
weird
combat
specific
with
detail about one
bayonets,
battle
knives
and not
fists
like
was bloody, to
the
say
first
least.
battles?
But within an hour,
We're not going to mention Long Island,
the
are
sun
we?
came
No,
up
no,
the
no,
next
no. We're not
day,
going to mention the Battle of
Cornwallis
Long
looked
Island.
out and realized he was in serious trouble. So he prepared an all-out, desperate counterattattack.
It didn't work.
I feel like
The
we're
British
getting
were
like
forced to
really
surrender.
weirdly
We were supposed
specific
to
with this.
loot-
Did my stream just die? Are we still here? Hello? Yes, I believe we are. We're still good. Are we still good? We're still good. Yeah, like why are we giving all this attention to like one specific
to
battle?
the
Like,
best army in the
are we
world,
watching a
the most
documentary
professional
right now? Or are
army
we
in the
watching a
But
parade?
our young army had won the
It's.
war and our
I've actually
freedom,
not watched Trooping of the Color
the
yet,
freedom we
Steve.
hold so dear.
If
And
this stream does
250
well, maybe
years
we can
later,
do a reaction stream
which
to that as well.
started as a ragtag group of shop owners, has now become the most
What's-
powerful
they're really-
army in the world.
Today,
Oh,
many
nowadays,
things are very
yes,
different
fair.
from that army here at Yorktown. But one thing remains the
Yeah,
same.
like why all the
An
weird
undying
like
passion, guts, and love
like
for our
Yorktown wasn't the
country
beginning of the
remains
army, it
deep
was the end of
in
the
heart
war, but
of
like
today's army.
it seemed like a little
When I look
they're
into their
spending a lot of
faces,
time
you
talking
can
about
see
it.
it.
You know, it's like
That will
I mean it's
never
not bad, it's just kinda like
God
I
bless
don't know, I
the
mean,
United States
all right.
Army and God
Martin
bless the United States
Eggman,
of
£2,
America.
thank you. Hope they don't leave out Mel Gibson. Oh, they would never. He's the one who saved the day. Don't you know? It's all his fault that the United States won. Thank you for your generosity, sir. Hair. Thank you for your generosity, sir. I appreciate it. Okay. Okay. So, look, like, I'm not really a fan of having them, like, this, like, what is this, the fatigue dress, or what, I don't know what the exact term would be in the American Army for, like, this, for this particular style of uniform. I don't like it, I'm not really a fan of it, but, like, that's just an aesthetic choice. It's, like, pretty good so far. These guys, this looks pretty good. Got the egglets going. I like the red caps, too. I'm thinking that's Navy. Is that a Navy band? Okay. And, like, obviously the American parade step is pretty dull, all things, like compared with a lot of other countries, but there's also a vibe to it. You know, like, there's this, like, feeling of, like, we don't mess around with the overly fancy, we're just gonna come and get you. And that's pretty good. Old Contemptible with £1. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Okay. Nice, dead serious. Alright. Oh, with the camera. Get out of there, camera. This is a good shot. I don't know who's saying heat, but yeah. Good step. Good fence post. The order is maybe like a little close in some, but I mean that's not even no. Good fence post for the order there. Well, that's a live stream issue, not a there issue. Okay, we got the ensigns. Okay, good order on the ensigns there. They were nice shoulder to shoulder. These guys looking pretty good. Okay, Marines, I take it. Drum major. Okay. These guys look good. It's a sharp uniform. Like it's no frills, but in such a way that works. Like it's a vibe, you know?
Ladies and gentlemen, our parade is officially underway.
Okay, I know.
Up first,
Let me enjoy it.
internationally renowned as one of the world's finest professional music organizations, the United States Army Band, Pershing Zone.
Oh, it's an army band. Okay.
They are the premier music organization of the U.S. Army, our nation's most senior service.
I'm gonna get rid of the captains because they're not gonna be very good. I just realized they're not gonna be very good captions, and it's like you can look this all up if you need to. We're not here for what they're saying. We're here
Hall,
to
Virginia.
watch.
It plays an important musical role in events of national and international significance.
Whoa! Stabilize that camera there. Oh! I saw them coming. Oh. These guys look good. This is the vibe. Oh, bayonets are fixed. Okay, all right.
Today, Pershing Zone is playing a melody entitled
I see you with the bayonets. The older school rifles.
Lieutenant Edmund Louis Snitz Gruber, which was a descendant of friends.
Army Old Guard are all over 6'5".
It was originally written to be the 5th Artillery Regimental song titled "The Caissons Go Rolling Along," and in 1956 the lyrics were revised by Harold Arberg as the official song of the U.S. Army, and then retitled "The Army Goes Rolling Along." Pershing Zone carries on.
See, I don't like the whole, like, let me tell you over a loudspeaker about the history of every little thing. It's like, look, let the parade speak for itself, and we'll listen to, like, the documentary stuff later on. Like, let me hear the boots, you know, cracking on the sidewalk. Let me hear the music playing and the orders. You know, that's why we're here.
Major General Winfield Scott during a victory parade in Mexico City after the Mexican War. It is the U.S. Army's.
Are those M1s that they're marching with? Yeah, like the announcer thing is just kind of annoying.
To ensure the highest standards and utmost discipline of its soldiers. The unit routinely represents the U.S. Army and our nation in official ceremonies.
Those are M14s?
Sporting events,
Okay.
and they're
I didn't think
the
they
U.S.
looked like
Army's
it.
own
Okay.
Twilight Tattoo.
It's a good look,
Old
the
Guard
M14s.
also maintains 24
The marching is about
hours
sloppy for some of the formations had better marching than some
soldiers,
cadets for it.
while also
I haven't seen
conducting
anything that
funeral
looks too bad
services
yet.
honoring
Now,
the fallen
trust me,
heroes
I
of
know from like earlier bits that I've seen, I know that some of it gets very sloppy, but I'm just going off of what we have seen so far. If the entire parade was like this, it'd be pretty good. They would do pretty good.
The regiment's 50 campaign
We'll see.
streamer stand is a testament to its
Wait, they don't
long
have,
service to
they
our
didn't have
nation.
magazines? I
Ladies
didn't
and
notice that.
gentlemen, the 3rd Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard.
Okay. Alright, here we go. These guys.
In 1775, the shot heard.
Whoa! Whoa, okay, alright. You can't just flip the camera to that and hit me with what a wow! What is that? He's even got the wing! Oh, that's okay, alright, we're right in on it. Alright. First of all, does he even have the shirt? I don't think that he's no shirt. The black glove is really short. Whatever. No lacing on the coat, like whatsoever. No lacing for our little General Washington over here. That cocked hat looks insanely cheaply made. Like you can tell that's like the lowest wool felt that they picked up from like Joann's Fabrics or whatever. What's going on here? What's with like he's got his like undershirt just like flared all the way out over top of his coat, whereas the shirt should barely even be visible, just the little like wingtip of the shirt with a nice white Stock. Yeah, the popped collar. My man's coming in here with a Halloween costume popped collar. Timu George Washington. That's wonderful. Private Rojas, $2. Thank you, sir. History Channel quality. That's like, I mean, there's no lacing. Are these even buttonholes, or are these just like sewn on? They're obviously they're not real facings. They're obviously like fake facings, but like they're not. And by that I mean like you can't actually like unbutton and then close the coat. That being said, not all the actual facings of the Continental Army were real facings back in the day. It was actually quite common for them to have faux facings because a lot of the uniforms were pretty cheaply and like mass produced. But I don't even think those are like actual buttonholes. I think those are just like flat, plain pewter buttons. Ooh, they really just like out the gate, boom, right with it. You can tell there's no lining on the coat either. You can see. Oh, I just realized that my mouse isn't showing up. I'm gonna actually have my mouse show up for you all because that's not what we want to show off. I'm re-downloading Anno, as you can see. Not now because I'm streaming. But can I make it to where you can all see the mouse? Oh, how did I get rid of the mouse before? Now how do I get it back? Display capture. Capture cursor. Now you can see it. Hey, now you can see it. Okay, cool. There's no lining on the coat here, as you can see. The epaulette is just, now it's not the best like quality like image that I have here, but yeah, very like low. Like there's no lacing again. There's no. It looks like just like a bit of like wool that they have sort of strapped over the side. Yeah. Who said that? Who said that? BP, thank you. Yeah, there's no sash, no sashing to speak of whatsoever. Yeah, okay. Oh boy. Guilty aside. Yeah, we're a friend of mine got that for me. We're hoping to play that together sometime soon.
Heard round the world that Lexington and Concord sparked a revolution, uniting 13 colonies and forging a continental army for farmers and frontiersmen.
We know. We already talked about all this. Let's get on with it.
Saratoga, survived Valley Forge, and at York.
All right, I'm not going to harp on the old guard here because it would be like an hour-long conversation. Suffice to say, everyone, I have an entire video about how insanely inaccurate... Honestly, the band, not the worst. The band isn't the worst. I speak too soon. Look at how loose these are just like, they're like, flipping slops. These look like sailor slops. They're meant to be gaitered trousers. Why do you have the buttons there? There's no use for them. Look at how they're flopping all over the place. Sash, okay, decent, good, sash, I like that. Love the Tarleton, love the helmet. Poorly constructed hats, and they're facing straight on. You want to rake those off to the side a little bit. It's the fashion of the time. The coats look fairly cheaply made. I have an entire video from like years ago where I basically go through the infantry drill of these same guys, of the old guard, like historical units. And they're horrible. It's all like Victorian drill. They're very historically inaccurate. Like nothing about it whatsoever is actually taken from the Steuben or the Steuben, whatever drill. It's not very good. Yeah, the coats aren't really the best fitted either. They're not the worst, but they're not the best. Hey, at least they don't have the popped collars. Right? There's at least that. Very generic, but
they bring history to...
I walked in at the perfect time. What the? What? These are supposed to be like the guys, though. Hold on, aren't these meant to be the guys? That's the old guard. They're meant to be like the representative. Hold on, the band's got it. Look at the step. Look at the step.
They bring history to life, sharing the...
Oh, maybe these aren't the old guard. Maybe they... Okay, maybe... I hate that they're all, like, slung arms as well in a parade. But no, okay, no. Okay. At first I was horrified, because look at the step, it's horrifying. But I've had a revelation, okay? I've had a realization. I'm going to give them some credit. And I'm going to give them a lot of wiggle room here. This is a parade that is meant to be talking about and showcasing the Continental Army and the sacrifices and the struggles and how hard going it was for them, right? This is not them parading the Continental Army as if they are on an inspection. This is them, like, marching from one place to another, ragtag. That's purposeful, maybe. That's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go with this is a purposeful decision on their part.
They bring
Hats, oh my god, that's hilariously bad. Poorly constructed. This is just Timu Washington. Oh my god, look at the wig, it's so bad. That's such a low quality wig. Oh my god. What are you doing with a cowboy hat there? What are you, get out of here, what are you doing? Cowboy hat.
And now, guys, from high above, ladies and gentlemen, celebrating 250
so maybe that's like the ragtag, because I know
parachute team, the Golden Knights.
Okay. I'm pretty sure like the actual old guard come in later on, because I've seen clips of them and they were in step, I think.
Using flexible wing gliders to maintain their formation. They open their
if we're gonna get a paratrooper, a paratrooper thing, that's gonna be pretty cool.
Possible landing.
Although there's a great big gap between, I don't like how there's like a little snippet of parade and now we're gonna have like this massive gap until the next. That's kind of weird. I prefer to have it be all together in one, but that's okay. See, I would have done this beforehand. Or afterwards. Got the smoke? Okay, I see, like, alright, I can vibe with this. This is pretty cool. It kind of looks like someone shot them down with the smoke. No data. No data. Oh, whoa, why did we jump there? No. Oh, and excellent connection. Okay, we're back. Hello, everyone. Okay. Ooh. Hold on. Okay, so, modern glasses. Hello there. Get rid of those, please. They're in a better, like... They've got the timing a lot better than the Continental guys did, but their step is still wrong. They're still like way. I mean,
in 1861, a nation
and they're getting worse the further it goes. Wait, so now we're going off to the Civil War. Okay, so we're off to the Civil War now. Was that the only Continental Army portrayal then? Because that. Ew. We're going to pretend that they were not meant to be in step for the Continental Army thing, but then it is a weird decision to have them in step for the. They're not. These guys are trying to keep step, and they're just not doing a good job. Are these reenactors or actual army? I don't know as much about the military uniforms of this time period.
A legacy of grit and honor across the American frontier.
Honor. Well, there's yeah. There was a great deal of honor. Yes, there was also a great deal of other stuff. They're not reenactors, actual soldiers. Okay. No, but in which case their step should be better. Okay, all right. So now we have the actual like modern. Oh no, no, sir. What are you doing? Okay, there you go. There you go. You got back. You came back.
Well, by war's
no, he
end,
lost it again.
He
lost it again.
Uniform of choice.
He got the step and then he lost it.
Congress authorized support for a force of up to 500,000.
Uniforms are passable?
Answering the call to preserve the Union. As they march by, representing the Civil War era of our nation's history, is the 4th Infantry Division based out of Fort Carson, Colorado.
Maryland flag? Okay, well, don't show us the paratroopers if you're talking about the Civil War guys. I want to see the Colorado whatever guys. I get it. They fell out of the sky. I get it. That's cool, but okay, here we go. Ooh, okay, all right. See, this is pretty cool. That's really cool. I wish that there would have been like more of them, but that's pretty cool to see. He's running. He's running. Oh, he's running. Where are you going, bud? Where are you going? Now, who's that running next to you? Is she part of the parade? Did she just wander on? That's pretty good.
From Port Cavazos, Texas, home of legends, the 1st Cavalry Division rides with pride. Born from the thunder of horse cavalry traditions of the Civil War, the 1st team forged its reputation on the front lines of history.
No. What are you doing with the waving? What? This isn't your local town 4th of July parade. You're meant to be... What's with the wave? They're not waving up at the box, are they? They're not waving at the box. If I was the commander-in-chief and they were given... I'm sorry, salute! You give me this... No, this makes it feel like a little local small-time thing. Guys, I was so with you. You were so there.
Elite soldiers and cutting-edge equipment.
What
Tough,
is that?
fit, fearless. The first
The wagon and everything. They got a pop. They got the horses.
That stands ready to
That's
fight
cool. Oh, no.
and
Wait, are
win
those horses?
anywhere, anytime,
Yeah,
and the legacy
the
rides
ears
on.
were like
This
pointed
is
in a
the
weird way.
Cav.
He looks like he's having a great time, doesn't he?
Special
County
thanks
Fair
to our
Parade.
sponsor,
Yeah, that's like...
Lockheed Martin.
Okay, so... Okay, look, like... The very concept of having a sponsor for a military parade is gross and weird and unnecessary and honestly kind of crazy. But if you're gonna have any sponsor, then, like, at least let it be Lockheed Martin. I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, it is kind of their thing. So, like, I don't, you know... I'm not, like... It could be worse. It could be worse. But yeah, having a sponsor is definitely really weird. It's kind of like... Okay, so I'm gonna make a comparison here. I want to make sure that it is specified that, like, this comparison is nothing close in terms of, like, scale or intensity or, like, emotion or anything like, right? Like, these things are not one-to-ones, but it gives me, like, the vague reminder of... There's a clip from, like, ages ago of, like 9/11 happening or some tragedy like that, and it's, like, they have the feed, and then it has, like, off to the side, it's, like, sponsored by, it's, like, a Burger King ad, or it's something crazy like that, just because, like, it was an automatic thing playing, and, like, no one did it manually, but it was, like, just this automatic thing. It's, like, oh, this is, like, weirdly incongruent right now, like, in the brain, like, this doesn't feel like it should be, like, something about this is weird. Having a sponsor for your military parade is definitely, like, in that same vibe, I feel like. Okay, we're gonna get some music. The Clinton Memorial. Are we gonna get any... How long is this shot gonna
The
be?
two sides engage in the
World
savage
War
war
I?
of attrition, defined by opposing trenches, barbed wire, poison gas, and mass casualties.
Don't
The
say
United
it.
States initially maintained its neutrality, but was eventually drawn into the conflict in 1917. Despite having less than 130,000 soldiers at the beginning, the Army eventually grew to over 4 million, with nearly 2 million soldiers serving in Europe. In 6 months of fighting, nearly 50,000 Americans lost their lives, with another 190,000 wounded. The guns fell silent with the armistice of November 11th, 1918.
Now, that fair slip up, the war ended 1919, but the guns did stop firing 1918. And hey, okay, they didn't say the whole, and we saved Europe or anything. They didn't say any of that. They said, like, hey, we were a big contributing factor to the end of the war. That's fair. That's a vibe. Okay, I like the car. Stop it. Just get that down. Stop it. Get dignified. You're meant to be staring straight forward, you know, not, you know, never detracting from the road ahead. Parade shouldn't be this.
USA World War I rolling stock. This 1918 Dodge touring car was part of
Okay.
the legendary 1919 transcontinental convoy.
Show me the peep there. Thank you. No, I want to see the troops.
3,251 miles
Infantry.
and 62 grueling
Give me the
days
infantry.
across the Lincoln Highway. Now remember, no pavement, no GPS, and no power steering. Just grit, determination, and the drive to push Army mobility into the future. This car
fair.
literally helped pave the way.
No shot, though. No shot. He is going past the actual. What's the term for it? The like the inspection booth. The place where all the hoity-toits go and stand. No shot. They are going right by again. I don't like the guy at all, but he's the commander-in-chief. No shot the army is going by the CIC, and could you imagine walking like through a military base and like a colonel has gone by? You're like, you know, private first class, and all of a sudden Colonel such and such. Oh, hey Colonel, how you doing? No, that's not how that works.
Today, and reminds us when the Army moves, the nation follows. The
Okay, thank you.
1918 Dodge
What is it?
touring car.
Yeah, cowboy? I mean, look, in the United States, it kind of makes sense. It's a vibe for, like, the salute to be more casual, like a sign of, like, mutual respect, not like a formalized, like, "Sir, you're my better and superior," but to be more of, like, a, like, "I respect you," mutual. Like, that's a vibe. I can understand that, but, like... I don't know if that's supposed to be. Okay. Modern glasses. How you doing there, bud? Modern glasses. No blanco on the webbing, I see. Did the Americans blanco their webbing? I actually don't know if the Americans blancoed their webbing or not. Standing collars look good. I don't know as much about, like, American World War I kit. That's, like, a really big, like, open spot in my knowledge. They look pretty decent overall, though. They got the right silhouette and everything. Now, the helmets, you can see the helmets are, like, they're not covered with anything. They're not, like, painted with, like, that gritty, like, texture that would make it to where they wouldn't reflect or anything. But, like, no, this looks good. This looks pretty good. Helmets are kind of being worn every which way, not the same. Get your head up. What are you doing? Get your head up. How's our step?
Headquartered in New York, this is the 42nd Infantry Division.
They're missing it. They're missing it.
At the start of World
Most of
War
them
I,
are good.
the
Most of them have got it.
Division was formed with troops
The
of 27 National Guard
puttees
units
look pretty good.
stretching across the
I mean,
country like
they look maybe like a little thin, but it's hard to tell from here. That's
Composed
just my
of
assumption
skilled-
because it's. I'm assuming that the putties are kind of thin because, like, honestly, most repro putties are way too thin. But like, you can get good puttees. I have good puttees, but they're hard to find, so I wouldn't like
musicians from all
blame them
walks
for
of
that
life,
necessarily.
Professional occupations, they perform a variety of musical genres.
Okay.
Though
The
their
bands
mission
are
is
keeping their step
primarily a
pretty well.
musical one, the members were ordered into active federal service back in
saw a
2004
little
in
thing there.
support of Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Again, like, the uniform
The
is so
band has also
boring,
served
but
in support
I'm
of
sorry, I didn't know
state
this was a
active
woke
missions, including
parade,
cleanup
or maybe it's
efforts for
Romanian or
Hurricane
something.
Sandy, distribution support during COVID-19, and recently support for New York State
Not very exciting with the
Commander-in-Chief
drum
Warrant
major there,
Officer
but
2,
whatever.
Ethan Wagner,
Okay,
led
good
by
salute,
Drum Major
good.
Sergeant
Eyes
First
left,
Class
good.
Gans.
Decent
The band
step.
is performing Over There, written
Okay.
in 1917 by Broadway composer and
World War
recipient
I boys
of
doing
the
pretty well for
Congressional
themselves.
Gold Medal, George M. Cohan. Representing the World War
All
I
these men have
era
lost
is
their
the
weekend
82nd
passes.
Airborne Division, based out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. You'll notice the unit is wearing replica World War I uniforms signifying
Step
the
isn't the
soldiers who
best.
served our nation during this time. When the Americans entered
The step
Great
isn't
War,
the worst,
our
though. Like,
soldiers
some of the guys are a little
command
off, but it seems like they're
General
usually.
Blackjack
Oh, what are
Pershing
you?
hit the
What are
trenches
you
of
doing
the
there,
first
bud?
soldier.
You're
It was the
scraping the
olive
poor
drab
ankles of the
service
man in
uniform.
front of you.
Now, on
There
their
you go.
heads
There
is
you go.
a
You got it
steel
back.
helmet with sand-textured paint built to deflect deadly shrapnel from above.
Yeah, the sand.
Not bulletproof, but battle.
Okay, maybe they do actually have the. They acknowledge the paint. Maybe they do actually have the paints on there. I just can't see it from the camera.
Nicknamed
That's
the
fair.
Pershing boot on their
He's not. He's just wearing a sweater. He's not wearing a.
feet was the M918, 1918
I think that guy is
French
too.
boot. It was designed to survive the brutal
Is that a
grind
thing?
of trench warfare. And on their backs, the field pack, rations, ammo, first aid, and a gas mask. Everything a doughboy needed to fight and to
Okay.
win.
So far, yeah, the World War I guys did pretty well. They had a pretty good portrayal. They kept their step pretty well. All things considered. at
Incidentally, the
least.
42nd Infantry
The step
Division
gets
was
really
deployed
bad?
to heavy combat abroad and then deployed again in World War II.
Speaking
ultimately
of-
liberating the Dachau concentration camp. The
Oh
42nd
no!
responded to terrorist
Oh
attacks of
boy!
9/11. Later, with the war on terrorism, the rainbow stretched across the world again, deploying in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Go back to the infantry there. Go back to. I want to see those boys.
Thundering into view, the pride of Fort Sill, the U.S. Army Artillery Half Section.
Whoever
This
that
is
infantry
literally
group was,
powered
that
by
was like,
horsepower
we'll see.
and heritage. This
Okay.
elite ceremonial unit
Proper
honors the legacy
salutes.
of the Army's horsepower
Yeah,
artillery.
okay. They're wheeling
With
along.
precision, discipline,
Look at
and
the, oh, you can, they're not showing it, but you can tell that these guys, their step is horrific. Every head is like bobbing up in like a different, hold on, there's a great clip that reminds me of. Let me see here if I can find it. What was it? I think they were Dutch. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit, some of the step of these guys. Like, it's not that bad, but like that was pretty. And keep in mind, those are cadets. Those are not professional military. Okay.
6 majestic horses pulling
We'll see if we,
vintage
hopefully we get a
1918
better view of
Nissan.
those
The
guys,
half
because
section
that's
keep
like,
tradition alive
that's
and rolling
something.
strong, representing the power, pride, and precision of America's field artillery.
Okay.
This
Ooh,
is
field
Fort
artillery.
Sill's
That's pretty
finest, ladies and gentlemen.
no shot, you have someone wheeling right after them with the bucket. No, just let the horses do their business. What are you doing with the bucket? That looks horrible. This could, think about how amazing, hold up, this screenshot could have been for like propaganda purposes for the admin and whatnot. Which, like, full credit, like, it's a good shot. With the artillery wheeling in front of the podium. And, like, also, hold on. This whole time, why is the president not standing at the podium to take the salutes? Why is he sitting down? Why? What is with that? That's dumb. The whoever, like, the parade is, like, being... Oh, I guess because it's not... No, I'll take that back. Because the Trooping of the Color is for His Majesty. This is not supposed to... This isn't really a Trump parade. It's an army parade. So I guess it kind of makes sense that he's just an observer as opposed to... I don't know. I would have had the CIC in the center to accept the salutes and everything, but I guess it isn't... I don't know. But look at the pooper scooper! Come on! You could Photoshop the bucket out.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
Dear. Oh, dear. I'm not saying that he should be standing there to accept the salute, but, like, have a seat
Special
in the
thanks to our
center.
sponsor, Form Energy.
Form Energy! Whoever they are. I guess the military doesn't have enough of a budget to do this. We had to scrounge for the corporate sponsors. You can fix it in post. Just like, let the horses poo. Everyone understands it's a parade. They're horses. It's what they do. The men will march through it, and then after the parade, you send through the street cleaner, and it's fine. Honestly, one of the best parts about going to attend the Trooping of the Color in person is that, like, you know, when all the soldiers are paraded past, all the horses are paraded past, and you just have this, like, 2 hours of downtime of nothing happening, just waiting for them to march back, then the street cleaner will come down, and it'll clean up all the poo, and they get the bigger cheer out of anyone. It's great. It's a very British thing, because everyone cheers for the street cleaner more than... It's great. It's wonderful.
Of Normandy to the islands of the Pacific, the greatest generation.
Sponsored by Brondo. Nice to see you, Chris. How you doing?
Tide. From bombers to fighters,
I want the U.S. military
transports,
sponsored by
US
Raid Shadow
Army
Legends.
aircraft
This
started
is
to
pretty
thunder
cool.
across the skies in World War II. And take a look up there, ladies and gentlemen.
See,
Flying overhead
this I
right
like.
now. They are fast. They
This
are
is really
fierce,
cool.
And famously used in the Doolittle raid over Tokyo. Leading up front, the mighty B-25 Mitchell.
All right, yeah.
Up next,
Okay,
the
World War
Cadillac
II
of the
boys
Sky,
looking
the
pretty decent.
B-51 Mustang.
They're keeping their step. They got the spats.
From the sky, we're back down on the ground.
I don't know what's going on with
World
the Jeep,
War II,
but
one
it's
vehicle
probably
led the
historical
charge,
thing. I just don't
legendary
recognize that
quarter-ton
pattern.
4x4 command recon vehicle.
Why would they be
the
patterned
Jeep.
like that with the...
You might have
Checkerboard.
a Jeep in your
I don't know.
driveway, but not like
That's
this.
interesting.
The U.S. Army Truck Quarter-Ton 4x4 Command Reconnaissance, better known as the Jeep, was an iconic vehicle.
There
of
aren't a
World War
lot
II
of
and was
vehicles, is the
world's
thing.
first
I would have had a lot
mass-produced
more
four-wheel
vehicles
drive
because then you
vehicle.
can
The
pack
Army
them
used
more
the Jeep for
tightly
almost every
in the order
military
and have it
activity,
feel more
including command
impactful. Like,
vehicles.
that's the thing, is that through this entire parade, the scale is actually, weren't there like 6,000 soldiers or something like that? But like,
Scout
the
cars,
scale
automatic
is feeling like
ambulances.
really
Fast, rugged,
small.
the Jeep became a symbol
Like,
of
it
American
doesn't feel
ingenuity.
like a big, major, impactful parade because it's like, there's a lot of space between all these units. Okay, step is decent. Band of Brothers theme, it's a little
From
hokey,
Fort Bragg,
but
North Carolina, this
at least
is
it's
the
good music.
82nd
at least it's more or less a good show.
Ceremonial
It's a pretty
Band.
decent show. I enjoy the show.
The 82nd received the nickname All-Americans after a contest.
But
as
why
it
are they
represented the
playing a
diverse
separate
origins of
theme
its
over
members from
top of the
every
marching
state.
bands? Just give us the military.
This name
Okay, he is
remains
standing.
today
That's good.
symbolized by their iconic
At least he could be
double-A
bothered to
patch.
stand.
Fort Bragg's finest, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a big round of applause. The 82nd Airborne.
All right. Now, I cannot comment on the authenticity of these guys' uniform because it's not something that I know about. I'm sure plenty of people have plenty to say about various little things, but honestly, I know like close to nothing about World War II like GI kit, so I can't comment on it. Sean Lynch, thank you, sir. The $5 tip, that's much appreciated. Although years ago, I introduced your vids to my buds as Lindy Bage's American nephew. Well, I shall take it with pride, sir. Thank you, and thank you likewise for your generosity. I appreciate it. Hey, they're keeping pretty decent step. Those Continental guys were in abysmal step. Spoke a little soon there.
Fight like World War II, the U.S. Army knew our
Ooh,
troops
ooh,
needed-
guys, you're bleeding in really close there. You're like, look, that's you're bleeding in really close with the order there. It's not the worst, but this right here is pretty
More than
bad.
courage. They needed innovation.
Colors dipped.
Uniforms
Come on.
evolved.
A lot of these guys, they're kind of like sunken forward, like lean back a little bit. You're supposed to like, sort of like, if you, that's the thing. So like the very first part of like every manual exercise you'll ever read, like ever, it specifies that when standing at attention or when on parade step, you're meant to pull the belly in a little bit, shoulders are back. So that way, when you're looking, you're not like, just like that. You're sort of pulled back a little bit, and it gives you a better like visage overall. A lot of these guys are sort of sulking a little bit, and you can tell that they're not really used to this whole parading thing.
World War I, the Army introduced two battlefield essentials: the M1 helmet, tough, stable, and built to protect under fire, and the M1 Garand rifle, powerful and fast, that gave American troops a very clear edge. General George
It's getting a little rough there for some of that. Some of those guys, they're not even really trying to.
Did right.
Do you think they actually got the rights to use that music? It's weird that they're playing the like. Were they playing it on loudspeakers in the parade? Because like the bands are there for a reason. Like, yeah, stomach in, chest out.
Destroyed German supply lines after
Lean
fighting
into
for
it a little bit,
33
and it'll
days
give you
straight.
more of a peacocking appearance. That's what you want on a parade. Oh my God, they're just the timing is all off for half
101st
these
Airborne
guys.
Division, based out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, traces its lineage back to 1918 when it first established as the 101st Division. Known for their ability to rapidly deploy across the world.
That's another one there with the horrible stuff. Horrible stuff. The
The
uniforms are so dull, honestly. Like, do we not have standard, like, better, like, we have dress uniforms. We have dress uniforms.
Warfare. In the 50s, the Screaming Eagles stood tall.
Hold on, first of all, I just realized something really stupid that I said at the beginning of the video. I was looking at one of the band, like, oh, are they Navy or are they Marines? Like, well, it's an Army parade. It's specifically for the United States Army. Why would the Marine band be? That doesn't make any sense. I just realized how stupid that was. But because I was just thinking about like dress uniforms. Marines have insanely cool dress uniforms. They look great. Does Army? Oh, hold on. U.S. Army dress uniform. Surely U.S. Army has like, yeah, parade. Yeah. Like, look at all this stuff. They've got plenty to choose. Look at this. This looks awesome. These people look We saw these guys earlier. Why don't they all look something like that? Look at that. That's sharp. I love that. I mean, it's not this by any means, but like, why do we gotta have them all in this? And ACU's Army Combat Uniform? ACUs, is that what they're called? Like, this stuff looks way cooler. I don't know. That's just my preference. That's not objective, that's just my preference.
Protecting the Little Rock Nine during the fight for civil rights. In recent decades,
Don't say that part too loudly in front of you-know-who.
the Middle East, where they took part in Operation Desert Storm and participated extensively in the war on terrorism in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Screaming Eagles continue to lead the way as tomorrow.
Yeah, but like when they're in like the
today's Army.
I for some reason I want to call them BDUs, battle trust. Maybe that's the British designation is BDU, as they call it. Whatever. Ooh, all right, okay, all right. But like when they're all dressed in like the basic like fatigue outfit, it kind of makes it feel more like a freedom of parade, or like a we're about to go on deployment or we're just returning from deployment parade, which like is fine. That has its but I don't know, it's just it doesn't there's nothing like there's no show to it, you know? BDU was 2 uniforms ago? Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Stone of the U.S. Armed Forces, showing its military might in World
This
War
is pretty
II.
cool.
It became one of the most influential tank designs of the 20th
Who are you?
century.
What you looking at there, bud? Who are you? All these people, they're wearing the proper stuff. Who are you? Are you the sheriff? Are you the town sheriff? What you doing there, bud?
Tank was nicknamed the Sherman tank after
At least look in the right direction. Make it look like you're supposed to be there. What does that say?
During World War II, the Sherman tank.
This is pretty cool, though. It's not every day that you see Shermans in a modern day parade. I'll give them credit for that. I like seeing the Shermans roll.
In World War II, the M16 half-track was a force to be reckoned with.
Secret
It was
Service.
a self-propelled anti-aircraft
Not with that
weapon
giant
speed,
gold star to
firepower,
mark the
and
person out.
Nicknamed the Meat Chopper, its quad 50 caliber mount could unleash 23.
He's the reenactor who
rounds a
owns the
minute.
tank.
Quite devastating. It served through Korea, Vietnam, and beyond.
It does say
Remains
Secret
in
Service,
use of
really?
U.S. allies to this day.
All right.
The M16 half-track brings the fight wherever it rolls.
Why would you label yourself as being Secret Service? And the entire point to like kind of be behind the scenes? Whatever. Get off of your phone! You're joking. What is the... Get off of your phones! Who are these people? What are you the official Army photographers? Because I don't think you're the official Army photographer. What are you doing with cell phones? What is that all about?
The U.S. Army Transportation Corps motto
Gotta
states,
text the boss.
Nothing happens until something moves.
Hey, I'll chat with you later. I'm on a parade. My boss is making me do a thing. I'll be on later.
1,000 pounds of cargo and was the backbone of the Red Ball Express that kept the Allies supplied after D-Day in World War II.
It would have been much cooler if we had like 5 or 10 of these things, you know? Like it's like what do you I mean, like, yeah, like, trust me, it's cool. I like seeing it, but like, why can't you have more? Why? It seems, I don't know. That's a pretty cool piece of kit to show off. I like to think that it actually broke down before the parade, so they had to tow it, but no, this is actually really cool to see.
The Korean War, often referred to as the Forgotten War, began on June 25, 1950, with the North Korean Army's invasion of South Korea. A coalition of South Korea, the United States, and other United Nations members defeated the invasion and advanced into North Korea. The coalition fought and defeated 2 Chinese offensives in the spring of 1951. Armistice negotiations began shortly after that defeat in July of 1951.
It's like a whole little history lesson for
two years later in
having it be like all the different like
Combat
uniforms
consisted
over
of
time
small
is
attacks,
really
raids,
cool.
and patrolling.
Once again, the step is not the best. All these guys are like hunched over and
military forces to the Korean Peninsula.
Oh, no data. No data. Please, are we back? We gotta wait till we come back. Wait till we come back. Are we good? Are we good? No data. Still no data. Wait for it. Wait for it. Are we back? Do we have data? Is the data restored to us? I think it might be restored to us. It says poor, but there is still stream health. Okay, so we're gonna keep going. That's the thing, it's like, it's, most of the guys are in set, but like, it only takes one person to like kind of throw it off, you know? It doesn't take a lot to throw off the entire step of a parade, and it looks a little sloppy. Like, the order is a little off
Special
here and there, like that one. With that.
sponsor,
Okay, I had a little spoiler because I thought when I was like prepping for the stream and I was like sort of scrolling through like to check the audio, I thought that I did see Coinbase, and oh my god, that is... Oh, that... What's Trump coins selling at these days? How's Trump coin doing? Alright, this isn't gonna want to load, so whatever. I'll figure that out later. That is crazy. The crypto scamming president is being sponsored at his military by Coinbase. Oh my lord. That's crazy. That's hilarious. Wonderful, wonderful.
Coinbase.
Check out a Mexican military parade at this. I think, so I'm not going to do so on this stream, but I think in a future one, I'd like to do more videos like this where I just like watch military parades and like talk about it with everyone. Mexico can do a great military parade. Like, their parades are awesome. They got flipping like falcons or whatever in their parades. It's great. Coinbase. How much do you think they paid for that? What do you think they got for it is the real question. That's
M151
crazy.
kept along is the lightweight, high-mobility general-purpose vehicle replacing the famed...
Are we gonna, hold on now, like, are we gonna see Raid Shadow Legends? Because at this point, I feel like we might see Raid Shadow Legends.
Most servicemen generally referred to it as a Jeep. The vehicle spanned
Crazy.
more than 40 years in 4 manufacturers and were everywhere that the Army was deployed.
Cutting out audio? Are we, hello, oh, wrong button. Hello, test. I think I'm still good on my end. It's skipping. I will give this 2 seconds here. And we'll forge on. You know, NordVPN sponsor? That'd be so good. I joined a bit late. You have some saying the entire gold.
Another roll by earlier, and at 2.5 tons, this deuce and a half, the M35A2 classic military transport truck was a
brought to you by
mainstay of the
Hims.
U.S. Army for decades, particularly during the Vietnam War and
That would be pretty
Operation Iraqi
appropriate,
Freedom.
let's be honest.
The deuce and a half proved its value moving cargo, supplies, and
Some of the audio is cutting
its
out?
capabilities include up to 5...
Is it my audio or like the whole stream or just my voice or what? Is it, let's see. We'll give it 5 seconds to see. I'm getting a text message. What's that all about? Okay, it's not related. We'll worry about that later. Audio's fine. We can. Okay.
1,000
All right,
pounds
we'll carry
off
on then.
road and 10,000 pounds on road, making it ideal for moving just about anything.
But can it carry your crypto wallet? Well, not without Coinbase, it can't.
A new kind of war.
Something like
Helicopters
that.
became the new workhorses of battle, delivering troops, firepower, and supplies.
Okay, this is pretty cool. Seeing the Hueys swinging on through. I like that.
In Vietnam, the era of air mobility, fierce
Yeah, those
firefights,
soldiers are
and
texting me.
unwavering
They're like,
brotherhood.
please let me out of this. I do love a good flyover. The Hueys, there's a good number of them too. They're looking pretty good.
Takes to the air, Flying overhead right now, they help define the Vietnam War. That staccato beat of the rotor blades was a welcome sound to many troops mired in combat. From transport and
That's pretty cool.
medevac to close
Seeing a good number of the
air support
Hueys out.
reconnaissance, they brought the fight to the front and pulled the wounded to safety. The
Do they have a Chinook?
scouted the terrain.
Seeing a Chinook would be pretty cool. My grandfather was in a Chinook
The
in Vietnam.
Cobra, also nicknamed the Snake,
He didn't have a
had
good time.
serious firepower.
He
Its slim
was
design,
not
as
a
you can
fan.
see here, helped it survive and thrive in hostile environments.
I'm not seeing any
to protect
Chinooks. I'm only
soldiers
seeing
below.
Hueys and like
And
others.
the icon of the era, the UH-1 Huey, the first turbine-powered helicopter in service with the U.S. military. There was nothing the Huey couldn't do.
I keep seeing
Simple
videos that the
support,
actual soldiers
air assault,
recorded
cargo
themselves,
transport, medic
like
evacuation, and
selfie
ground
mode.
attack
I'm on the
missions.
parade because if
Cobra
that's
and
if
Huey,
that
ladies and
happened, then
gentlemen,
that's
three iconic
crazy.
Army symbols in the sky.
In the sky.
The first Cavalry Division
Okay,
band
all right.
based out of Fort
Perseus
Devassos, Texas,
2
is playing
Euro
a role in the
49.
military
Thank you
history.
very
Since
kindly.
its
That's
origins back in
appreciated.
1855 as the
Lovely to
band
see
of
the
Second
Hueys.
Cavalry,
Yeah, it
they
is. I
supported
agree.
operations from the Civil War to Desert Storm.
Okay, all right, we got some twirling. We got some twirling. This guy knows what he's about. This is pretty good. I like the what are they called? Are those not hardy hats? I don't know the name of the caps, but that's a pretty good looking hat. I like that. Some people keep on saying that the audio is cutting. Other people are saying that it's completely fine. I'm not sure what I can do about that, unfortunately. We'll just
Bring
carry
legacy.
on.
Today, the band continues its mission using music to shape perceptions, foster trust, and promote national army and division interests. Standing ready to serve, it remains an enduring symbol.
Cav
of the
hats but
first
no spurs.
Cavalry
I think
Division's
because it's
legacy
referring to the
and
air
commitment
cap,
to
so they're not
duty.
wearing spurs.
The band
It's just the
performs
hat.
Hit the Leather and
I think
Ride
that's
on
fair.
march composed by Captain Robert Meredith Wilson. This piece reflects the cavalry's transition.
All right, most people are still saying that there's no audio issue, so we're just gonna forge on. And if there is for anyone, then I apologize for that. But maybe just like rewind the stream by like 10-20 seconds and just follow like a few seconds after the fact, and that would probably fix the issue based on what I'm seeing people say. Because most people are still saying that the audio is fine. Yeah, or maybe like leave and then come back, whatever. Some of the order here, like this guy has is at more of a slope than that guy does. Some of the, yeah, the placement of the arms is kind of all over the place right now. Truth be told, though, I've seen British soldiers with the same problem before. It doesn't look very good. These are your front rank men. That doesn't really look the best. Step is okay.
By January 1969, more than 364,200 soldiers organized around 7 divisions and 20.
Some of the, you're swinging your arms, this guy's not swinging his arms, and you're not swinging your arms. It doesn't seem like they got a lot of, like, it seems like they didn't get a lot of rehearsal time for actually how much they're supposed to swing their arms and everything, you know?
1973, while a small number of non-combat.
Why don't they have magazines? Why would you not give them magazines? Oh, we can't trust our literal own army on a parade to not have a charged magazine? You don't have to give them ammunition. Why don't they have magazine? Oh, I'm pretty sure that every other nation, like, you give the boys with magazines. Why do they not? What, my internet's going to be slow in terms of my Google searching, but, like, that doesn't... Threat of assassination attempt? Inspect the men! Go... You send someone up and down the ranks to manually inspect every firearm. That's not... That shouldn't be a thing. That... What? 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 Isn't the United States supposed to be all about firearms and safety? Like, it's not that hard to just make sure they're not loaded. Like, what? Do they not trust their own army? That's kind of crazy to me.
Until April 1975.
We all saw that Joker scene in Dark Knight. You do drill without a mag. Not in every... Hold, all right, I'm going to look this up. Because I want to... We'll do Trooping the Color to see. Yeah, here we go. pretty sure that these boys... Come on, internet, work for me. Yeah, magazines. They're bullpup magazines, but they're magazines. I actually kind of like bullpups. I think they look cool. I don't know about how they function, but I think they look cool. Getting too much of the royal. Yeah, they are parading with their... That's the same picture. What am I doing? Yeah. Yeah, they have magazines fixed. What about... Let's see, did the French do it with magazines? Come on. Come on. Come on. I keep on clicking, but it's not gonna... Alright, there we go. We can't see it there. Whatever, I'm spending too long on this, but... I'm not going to be able to see it there either. Oh, no, I'm pretty sure I see a magazine there. I'm pretty sure, yeah, these guys are parading with their magazines fixed. Yeah, you always do it with the mag. We don't drill with mags. Why not? What are you talking about? It's an important part of the firearm. You got to know how to maneuver it with the... That's the whole point of drill, is knowing how to handle your firearm with the full...
I think the Vietnam War era is the 100th
Marines drill without magazines? What sense does that make? That's so stupid.
The unit is wearing
Whoa! Look at that.
Uniforms
What are you
signifying the soldiers who served
doing?
our nation during this time.
Talk about step.
Blistering heat, thick humidity.
The magazine gets in the way of shoulder arms, so I don't load them on parade. You keep the magazine fixed and you make the drill appropriate to the firearm. Like every other country. What do you mean you just don't load it with the... What?
Terrain demanded uniform
That's
innovation.
dumb.
And the Army, they delivered.
You know, I hear you guys, you don't drill with mags, but that's dumb. You should drill with magazines. What use is the drill other? Well, the whole point is to get yourself to be, like, intimately familiar with the firearm and how to maneuver the firearm. Oh, this part's inconvenient, so we're just gonna get rid of it.
Boots replaced by canvas tropical combat boots that offered better grip, faster drying, and all-day endurance.
Once again, we got guys out of step, like, everywhere.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Oracle.
Oh, they don't get a splash screen? Oracle doesn't get they don't get the menu? We're just gonna say their name. Cool looking uniforms here. I like the uniforms. Oh, some of that stuff. Whoa. Boom. Like, this is kind of cool. Like, doing Army through the history, like, that makes sense.
In August 1990, the U.S. Army deployed to Saudi Arabia to deter further Iraqi aggression.
I'm not really, like, the biggest fan of the, like, constant voiceover going through every single little history. Like, let me just experience it as it is, but that's not really the biggest deal in the end.
Had assembled in the Saudi Arabian desert. In mid-January 1991, the U.S.-led coalition began Operation Desert Storm, which kicked off...
This looks pretty cool. Like, that's a good look right there.
To knock out key Iraqi infrastructure.
That's a nice chocolate chip and
the ground offensive was
PASGT helmets. Okay. I'm not familiar with this, like, time period at all, really, in terms of, like, the actual, like, material culture. But it's a really cool-looking kit. Like, the pure, like, sort of desert camo. That's a good look. Okay, now we're getting the vehicles coming in. All right, cool. Oh! What is this? What is this? What are you doing? Yikes! They march like cavalry, and actually way worse because cavalry, like, that's a joke.
Nicknamed the
Not
Big
actually
Red One
serious.
because of the distinctive red on their unit patch. As the oldest continuously serving division in the U.S.
Okay, so
Army,
they started off.
participated in every major.
Guy, look at you right there. You right there. You started off. They were marking time. They were marching in time, so that way when you step off, everyone does it together. How could you have already lost the step?
World War I, living up to its motto: "No mission too difficult, No sacrifice too great.
How could you have already lost the step?
The 1st Infantry Division was originally established as the 1st Expeditionary Division in 1917.
There's another one in the middle there, in the
Expeditionary
middle.
Forces in
How am I
France
able to
during
spot
World
this
War I.
many people
In
who
World
are
War
just
II,
completely
the
out of
Fighting
step?
First stormed Omaha Beach on D-Day and liberated Nazi concentration camps. The highly decorated unit has had 37 members of the Big Red One awarded the Medal of Honor. In Washington,
Yeah,
D.C.,
it's
the
like-
1st Division Monument stands in President's
Come
Park,
on,
memorializing
people.
those who
American
died while
individualism,
serving
yeah.
in the 1st Infantry Division.
A real man
Ladies and
doesn't
gentlemen, they are
march
the
in
Big Red
step.
One, the 1st Infantry Division.
I heard they were marching slothfully to protest the parade. I feel like there's no way to confirm it, really. I mean, maybe. I didn't know that Brandon had critiquing drills, but I needed for entertainment. I'm glad that you're enjoying it, because this is hell for me. I'm actually enjoying it, too.
More military rolling stock. During Operation Desert Storm, the M2 Bradley...
I don't want to harp on this because we talked about it earlier. I mean, it's something waving nonsense. Stand up, shoulders back, head held high and forward, like holding on to whatever like the thing is, and it's there's a way that you do the parade in a vehicle, and that's not it. Grab onto like whatever the bar is in front of you to make sure that you're nice and straight, and have some pride in it, have some dignity. Like, come on now.
The founding vehicle proved its value on the battlefield.
Stop
it. Is
it.
fast, it is tough, and it is lethal.
What are you waving
Named
to?
Omar Bradley, a leader.
Look at you, for God's sake!
Class of
You're in a
1916.
flippin' howitzer,
Bradley was built to
self-propelled,
carry
whatever.
troops into
It's a
combat
killing
with
death
protection
machine.
and power. Armed with a
Hey there,
25
kids!
millimeter chain-driven
We use
cannon
this thing to
and
blow
22
people up. What is
optically capped
this?
wire-guided missiles. It played a critical role in clearing the way during the ground
And again,
assault
don't
into
get me
Iraq.
wrong,
While the
everyone.
battlefield looks and
Don't
sounds
get me
like a
wrong.
tank, it is
I
technically a
love
self-defense
military
concept
parades. I
that was
love
first
this kind of
introduced back in the
stuff.
1960s.
I'm not one of
Over the
these
years,
hippie
it's
dippies.
built
Oh,
up
the army is evil. We shouldn't
diversity
have an army. This is celebrating murder. But no, I'm not all that. I love military parades, and this is just so lame. Obviously, I'm playing it up for the camera. My real life reaction, right, would just be like, that's weird. But like, come on. Come on. It's like they're at the county fair. Stop with the waving. Yeah, they're not saluting even, like when they go past the box half the time. Indian parades look like flancha. From the footage that I've seen, Indian parades are heckin' better than this. Let's just as a quick little comparison. I'm not like insanely familiar. Like I haven't seen too much of them, but like, what was it Republic Day parade? Yeah. Let's see what they've got. Okay, hold on. Okay, maybe they are a little wackier than I was remembering. Remember, everyone, your military parade sponsored by Monday.com. Let's see. Let's see how the Indians are doing. That's just bands. I mean, that looks pretty good. I'm sorry, the audio, the quality here is horrific. It is on my side, too. That's not just on your end. They got nice dress uniforms, though. That looks pretty heckin' good to me. I really actually vibe with, like, the way back, way forward. I like that. That's pretty... Okay, the float is weird. The float... no, okay. No, I'm not about that. I'm not about that. But, alright. You know what? We'll do a similar stream to this one day. We'll talk about Indian parades. We'll do one of these for, like, each country. At least it isn't sponsored by Coinbase. Alright, there they go. Thank you. Give a salute. God's sake. What was it? He immediately, like, doubled back, like, whoa, you see what I did there? Like, what? That's pretty cool, though. Seeing the Abrams and everything on the parade, like, I actually like seeing the tanks, like, going through. Like, it's... I understand why a lot of countries don't want to do that, and I actually kind of prefer that the British usually don't. But it is kind of cool to see. I don't think that it's, like, some horrible, evil mark. It's, like, it's not my favorite vibe. Like, if I had my way of, like, if I was able to design the parade myself, then I absolutely would... What? Why? Who cares? Why? Who cares? If I was able to, like, design the parade route and everything myself, I wouldn't have included the tanks. It does have, like, a little bit more of, like, an Eastern kind of vibe. It's cool to see, but, like, I don't... Like, it wouldn't have been my choice, right? I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but it wouldn't have been my choice. Grant F, £2, thank you, saying, yes, do more parades. Okay, I hear you all. Can do that. Yeah, why UFC people? It's like, okay, is that like the equivalent of Steven Seagal at the Victory Day Parade? Like why? Okay. Oh, God. Maybe sit up a little bit, but what's the yawn? Come on! Maybe sit up a little bit, take some pride, acknowledge the bend. What are you doing? That's the thing. That's the thing, right? If I was a Republican, right? If I was a Republican, if I voted for these guys, if I liked these guys, and I saw them, I would be angry. I'd be like, hey, buddy, what are you doing? Like, come on, like that. I would be upset by that. That's the thing. That's the thing. My bias, I don't like these people, right? Not at all. Not one bit. But, like, I think that I would acknowledge that, like, if I did like them, I would be more upset by that, right? If the king was sitting there watching Trooping the Colors, I'm obviously a very big fan of His Majesty. I quite like the British monarchy. I swear to. And if the king was just like, oh my God, and falling asleep, like, I would be very upset by that. Come on now. Oh, John, shut up, Lipcuck. You get out of here, John.
Or move faster than the First Armored. The First Armored Division, nicknamed Old Ironsides, is the oldest, most recognizable armored division in the United States Army. As part of the buildup for World War II, cavalry and reconnaissance units were brought together to form the First Armored Division in 1940. In the Gulf War, no division hit harder or moved faster than the First Armored. Old Ironsides really led the way. During Desert Storm,
and, like, look at Hegseth over there. He's not standing up and saluting or anything. He gives a thumbs up. What is that? What's the thumbs up going for? Bro, you're a Democrat. I wouldn't identify myself as a Democrat, but I've certainly not voted for any Republicans. No, we're not getting into politics. We're not getting into politics. I identify myself as a conservative, and I do not think that there is an honest-to-God conservative in all of the United States. I see an awful lot of reactionaryism. I see an awful lot of cronyism and not actual, like... I am a believer in one-nation conservatism and the principles of noblesse oblige, which does not seem to be terribly popular these days, which is very frustrating. The guy in the back not wearing a tie has even said thank you once. Right. We're getting away from politics. We're going to talk about the parade.
From World War II to today, Old Ironsides
remains
battle-proven.
I can't tell how their step is from here. It's a very boring uniform, though. Not the worst fence posting. They've got some pretty decent there. Like the straight lines and like the gaps between. Okay, that's not the worst. These guys are doing pretty good. This is pretty decent. Ooh, no, oh, one guy didn't get the order to eyes straight. Okay, they're marching on by. They should have shown off the new dress uniform instead of the battle. That's what I'm saying. It's like, look, if you have, like, some people in battle fatigues, that's fair. I think that's fine. Show off all the different variants and everything. Like, having some guys like, hey, look, we're not just here for show. We are combat units. We're here for combat. That's fair. That's awesome. I love that. But, like, so far, that's the vast majority of what we've seen has been only just, like, you know, the slops that they're wearing, right? The, like, daily dress, not the actual, like, hey, we're here for a formal state occasion, let's wear the state occasion dress, you know? Like, that's what I would have wanted to see. They're all just a bit sloppy. Yeah, they're all just a bit sloppy. The Victory Parade for Iraq 91 with Bush 1 was effing way better than this. That was an amazing parade, yeah, from like what I've seen at least. I haven't watched the whole thing, but that was a really cool parade. And this just, even at its best, isn't really... so silly. Looks like a chain gang. He's on his phone. Was there another guy on his phone? Oh, God. Yeah, like, there's not a lot of just pageantry, you know? It's like it doesn't really have... There's no music right now either. You know what's funny? What's really funny is that these people have better step right now without any musical aid than the guys with the actual bands playing had. Whoa, I just realized there's like... That's not a big crowd. Look at all the green gaps there. Look at... They did not let a lot of people in to actually see this thing. They're trying so hard to not show the lack of crowd. Yeah, it kind of feels like it all of a sudden. I didn't realize it was like that few. There was a pretty big gap there.
Firepower to the front lines. Lighter and more mobile than larger artillery, it was...
All right, so now we're moving on like to the more modern stuff.
Fire high into the air or directly at the target, depending on the mission. Whether used in battery formation or as a standalone support weapon, the M119
Stop with the wave thing. It looks silly. Like, again, if this is like the county fair, small local town, you know, turn like whatever, like fine, whatever. But like, this is meant to be the 250th, right? Like, this is an inspection. This is meant to be like the big to do. It's just. If we're just gonna do vehicles now, I think we can skip the UFC! Gotta get the sponsor in! You know, it's better than Coinbase. It's better than Coinbase. My God. How are we doing? Abrams rolling through. Let's get to the Abrams.
Destroyed the World Trade Center in New York City.
Oh, man, we're lacking a little bit. Everyone, I apologize for the poor internet connection. I'm living in an Airbnb at the moment, and it's not the best internet. That's the main reason why I haven't been streaming as much lately, is unreliable internet connection.
The fight to stabilize war on terrorism. Most of those who served were members of the United States Army.
Next screen, please. Next screen. This doesn't sound. This doesn't sound like military music to me. This isn't. Hold on, there must be something wrong with my headset here. People have been joking about, like, Brawndo, which I think is that's an Idiocracy thing, I think. Having, like, okay, having Coinbase sponsor it with, like, a random wrestling guy as, like, apparently a very honored guest who got just as much screen time as, like, the Secretary of State. And now, like, we got rock music for, I'm presuming tanks are gonna be rolling by soon or something like that? Like, what? That... Yeah, there they come! There he goes! Hold on, wait, did they only have one? I thought they had more Abrams. With, like, just the plain expression, he looks so dull to be there. No joke, they play Fortunate Son, do they? Oh my god. Whoa, the War on Terror! What is this? What is this? We're only an hour into it. Does this, how far does this go? Is it, okay, it seems, oh my god, this is such a long parade. Alright, he starts speaking there. We're actually making pretty good timing. No, I've only been streaming for an hour and a half. We're already an hour into the parade. They're waving! Can't we have a cavalry band? This is meant to be like the cavalry. It's armored units. Have a band just like, you know what they do at the Russian Victory Day parade is they just have the band playing, like they have the stand, the parade route, and the band is playing like on the opposite side of the road, so that way there's continual music as more of these units march on by, which like I prefer to have a marching band at the head of the long columns and everything, but like that's still a fine way to do it. What's with, like, the just giant stereos playing rock music? Okay.
Introduction since the Abrams vehicle.
Skip through this vehicle after vehicle after vehicle here. I think we get the picture. It's more of an air show vibe than a parade. Yeah. U.S. doesn't do parades. That's the thing, though. It's like, if the United States doesn't do parades, that tells me, oh, we better do a lot of time to practice and rehearse to make sure this looks good. But, like... no, they're just like, just throw it together. Just put it together. The U.S. just does it different. The U.S. does it poorly.
Lincoln in their ranks. After the 9/11 terrorist attacks, Rangers were called upon to lead the way in the global war.
Be thankful there's no AI music. Yeah, that would have been something, wouldn't it? Oh, there they go! Oh, look at that step!
Based out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, represents a lethal, agile, and flexible force capable of...
They just don't look good. Like, you can't... You can't, you can't go to the finest dining restaurant in town wearing slacks and Crocs and a ball cap and say, oh, well, I don't normally eat at a place like this, so of course I'm not going to look good. Well, you can try. You can rent a suit. You can maybe Google how to tie a tie. Like, and you know what? If you don't want to do that, fair, fine, whatever. You don't have to eat it. But then don't go to the fancy restaurant. Go to the Applebee's or something. This is feeling a lot more like Applebee's right now than the fancy restaurant. You can keep the basic step. There is a flugelman of an officer standing right in front of you. Just match what he's doing. Come on. Come on. It can't be that hard. It cannot be that hard. I know it's not that hard. I've done this. I've been to parades. I've been the guy calling out the step before. It's fun. I like parades.
Adaptability and continuous transformation to overcome our enemies is vital.
Make sure to wave to the crowd, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Look at him hunched over. We're gonna... Random senator. Alright, Iowa. Oh, this is the worst one yet. This is the worst one yet. Look at him go. Look at him go. Horrible stuff. Premier Miller, $5 as well. Again, thank you. I feel like this was originally to be a more casual affair, showing the Army history, but then it became about Trump and they had to upscale it last minute. That I could see making sense. I could see that being the case. Even still, I would say, like, that doesn't... It doesn't have to be a terribly upscale event to have, like, basic step, but, like, you know, though it makes sense, because, like, so, the Continental Army guys, their step was abysmally bad. But other than them, and again, like, I'm gonna give them credit, like, maybe it was meant to feel kind of ragtag because of, like, the vibe of what it was. So that's fine and all, but, like, all the other historical units, like, their step was decent. Like, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst, right? Like, their portrayal wasn't the worst. And everything, so, like, that kind of makes sense. Like, maybe it was originally only meant to be the historical units, and then, like, all of these guys just kind of got thrown in last minute, but I don't know. All that's missing is a Bud Light sponsor. Aren't they one of them woke brands now? Don't they like the gays or something? Wasn't that the one that, like, Kid Rock shot with a machine gun or something like that because they had, like, a trans person, like, on an advertisement or something? I don't know. People get their feelings hurt very easily, I guess, these days. People are sensitive. But yeah, like, look at
America's military might, they have one purpose: to deter war and, if ordered, defeat the enemies of the United States of America. They are the 10th Mountain Division.
Yeah, like, look at these. It's just, like, there are officers in the front who are
Investments in cutting-edge systems, drone technology,
by the right. March. Like, it's not hard.
with tools they need to protect the country and defend democracy. The Army has 8 Stryker Brigade combat teams, 6 in the active component and 2 in the National Guard. More than 2/3 of the 7,000 servicemen and women who sacrificed their lives fighting the global war on terrorism were part of one of the Army's 3 branches.
They have a live band playing at some point, like this kind of live band, or like a military band. Because one of them would be a lot better than the other. Why are we stopped? Oh, okay, there we go. That's fine. It's a big parade. Sometimes you have to stop because things get choked up. That's fine. Maybe don't show that on the camera. Maybe go to another angle or whatever because it doesn't look the best. But, like, that's pretty standard. The Marines wouldn't have let this happen. Maybe. God, I hope not. What's with the music choices? Seems like Hegseth is upset about something there. He's pointed out something that he doesn't like. I'm not gonna say anything. The music. Oh, the music is just something else. Marines can at least march in step. I mean, it's a pretty basic thing. Like, the Abrams look cool going down the street, but, like, what's with the music? Gold Star family, okay. What is this? What are you doing? What? Rob coming through with a $5 tip as well. A little bit of a clown emoji. That's sounding about right.
By securing ready, prompt, and sustained land dominance by
Rob, I appreciate it, sir. It's very generous of you. It's much appreciated. Thank you.
Of the joint force.
Or these infantry. It's all very samey, isn't it? I'm starting to wonder if we should, if, like, I should, leaning back, don't mind me, I'm just preparing to take the salute from the nation's armed forces. I figured this is an appropriate pose for it. I'm wondering if we should skip ahead a little bit. Is there anything in particular that I'm going to be missing over, like, the next 15-20 minutes if I were to skip ahead to something different, just because I feel like we're getting kind of samey with my complaints, and, you know, I'm sort of saying the same thing over and over again. Honestly, the other thing is that it doesn't really feel like a very big parade, because the... no data, and excellent connection, we're back. It feels like a fairly small parade, because, like, Like here, we'll just take a screenshot of this. Because look at the size of the columns and everything. Like there's not a lot of guys in every formation, right? Like here's what I would do, right? Here's what I would do. Take like the rear half of this company or whatever it is. Take the rear half, extend the line to make it wider instead of longer, and then move each individual rank, move them up way tighter to where they're like a dozen paces or whatever, one in front of the other. So that way, like, yes, the parade itself will be shorter, but it'll feel a lot bigger. Because right now it's like there's all this empty space. It doesn't really feel like there's a lot of, like one gun, like all these vehicles are just one at a time, and like it doesn't really feel like there's a lot going on, Like it's not filling the space very well for like those grand photos of it all, That's like kind of how I feel about. Oh my god, that's that. Glenn, £5, sir. Thank you very kindly. I appreciate it. The trooping of the color versus this shows the difference between having class and having wealth. That is honestly that's yeah. I do not disagree with you. That's pretty on par. I would say that's pretty correct. It's like it's almost like it's getting normalized, right? It's getting normalized in my mind how horrible the step is and how poor the order is for a lot of these guys, right? It's like it's in the back of my mind only that I'm remembering like what a Chinese parade looks like, what a British parade looks like, or a Chilean or a Mexican or a French parade, and like how soldiers who are actually like drilled and disciplined in parade order are supposed to look. And like, look at this. We got one, and look at how much space there is between. Whoa, hello. Okay. It's just I don't know. It's like, what is it meant to be? I feel like it's trying to be many different things at once, and it's failing at all of them.
Extensively in the Gulf War, along with Bradley tanks and the infantry squad vehicle. The ISB provides enhanced tactical flexibility.
Enhanced tactical. He's got a salute at least. He's got a good salute. That guy was pretty good. The music. Oh my god, the music. I was at St. John's Ambulance Cadet and we trained better than this in drill. Don't armies do drill anymore? Most armies do drill. It just apparently seems like the United States is the only nation that doesn't. The Red Parade has more than just 600 soldiers more than this, and it feels like they're having twice as much. Yeah, like it feels like there's a much better scale. Although I'm pretty sure don't the Russians march soldiers around multiple times to make it feel bigger? I feel like maybe that was just a Moscow, or Siege of Moscow in World War II thing, that they paraded soldiers around multiple times. But I don't know. But like definitely like all the other parades feel much larger, right? This is a parade for modern audiences, and like flippin' of all of the people that you think would be all against that, be like, oh no, we're not gonna cozy up and make like a weird modern parade for the wokies or whatever. Like we're gonna do like old school, we're not gonna explain anything. We're just gonna have it be what it is, and traditional music and traditional this. Like you'd think that would be the people who claim to be all about preservation, like.
The Army has.
Okay, now we're just gonna get a commercial.
And I feel like do this.
I'm sure the Army is so good, so cool, blah blah blah. I don't know. I honestly don't have a problem with them showing that during the actual parade, but like it's just not why we're here personally. They do that, like that's pretty common across the board. Like I'm okay with that. Medal of Honor, see if that makes sense. We showed the wrestling guy before the Medal of Honor recipient, but...
Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson, Alaska is the home to America's Arctic Angels, who execute expeditionary operations worldwide conduct multi-domain operations in the Indo-Pacific Theater and the Arctic.
Why is it also so common, it seems, that, like, in the very beginning, they're nice and, like, well-spaced, and then they sort of clump up a little bit? Not too much. Just a little bit there.
Large-scale combat operations. The Angels are the Army. The 11th Airborne Division led the way in the Philippines during World War II from 19... Division, America's...
And, you know, the fact that, like, the combat fatigues that they're wearing are, like, so baggy really doesn't help the over... Like, if their uniforms looked very sharp and very, like, you know, like, proper, very, like, well-cut, well-fitted and everything, then I think it would make the poor step look a lot look a lot less bad. But the fact that they're just, like, wearing these slightly baggy clothes makes it a lot worse. Those are interesting. I don't know what that is. Those vehicles. We'd be speaking British if it weren't for that. My god, the music. They aren't organized by height or anything. Yeah, I mean, they're not... Is this Guitar Hero? How much did they, like, license this music for? Like, how much did they pay for it? What did these bands get paid? Did they get paid? That's the question. There's a lot of vehicles here. They have dress uniforms for a reason. Yeah, like, if you're having, like, a military banquet, the men wear their dress uniforms. If they're going on a parade, why would they not wear the dress uniforms? This part is somewhat cool. It's not with the music. The music kind of makes it feel like a parody. It's like a joke, you know? It's like you literally had multiple army bands marching by earlier. Why not have them formed up where that crowd is right now and have them playing some music? There's a dress uniform! That's a good-looking uniform! That's a good-looking bit of kit! Guy in the back with the egglets, not paying any attention, but, like, it's a good look. Why not have that? Mr. Policeman standing, what are you doing? Back up! Get out of view! He's right in front of the box! It's like he's taking the salute. You never see anything like that so present, like, during the trooping of the color. Like, what? What are you doing right there anyways? It's like they're unironically expecting some people of the military to revolt. North Korea does better than this? North Korea does way better than this. It's the only thing that North Korea does well, but... And I'm not really a fan of their parades. North Korea, they look kind of silly when they do it. Yeah, more vehicles. Here they go! Stepping along in whatever step they want to. Oh my god. It's just the same thing over and over again, really. Same thing over and over again.
In response to the pressures of the war on terrorism. In the 170,000 Army Reserve, they are an important component of Army readiness. Let's have a big hand for the Army Reserve.
I guess we shouldn't have expected the reservists to have better step than the regulars.
Great example of assessing evolving needs and developing the...
Kid Rock will be leading the troops next time. But, you know what, that's like, I feel like we're really only like 1 degree removed from just having Kid Rock on top of the Abrams as it's rolling down the street. The reservists are here. Gentlemen, the reservists are here. God. Soldiers don't want to be there, they're literally having their time wasted. Didn't have to be like that, though. Didn't have to be like that. A well-performed parade can be an amazing way to, like, to demonstrate the discipline of your soldiers, to actually enhance the discipline of your soldiers. It could be an amazing way to show off the pride with which the citizenry of the nation like feels in their nation, in their military. The effort that the military is willing to put in to, you know, looking good and looking proper. You know, all of the same reasons why a soldier is meant to make their bed every morning, right? Like, that's the first thing that a soldier does when you wake up is you make your bed. The same reason why that is important, that's why you have military parades. That's the exact same, it's the exact same reasoning. And so whenever people are like, oh no, parades are stupid, we shouldn't have parades. It's like, well, you're looking at it way too literally. Here, they're not, there's no value to what they're doing with this. It's a no pride parade. Where are you looking there, John?
When American frozen forests in Belgium in
They're just
December
chatting away, having a great old time. Aramos with €6. My goodness me. Well, thank you as well. Very kindly. I appreciate that. Have you seen the Indian one with people on motorbikes rotating the helicopters? I have seen that one. We're gonna do... I'm having a lot of fun with this. We're gonna do more live streams where we review parades in the future, I think. It is a lot of fun. It's, we're definitely gonna do more of these. I enjoy military parades, right? I'm not enjoying this one. Unironically, I'm just... Like, here's the thing, is if I wasn't streaming right now, I would not be this deep in... I would not be watching it right now. I would really not. But if we were watching any decent parade, ooh, okay, all right. See, this is a vibe. See, these guys are in, like, open order. They don't have to be in step. I'm okay with them not being in step. The music is so bad. The music is so lame. Just genuinely very lame. But, no, I think I'm definitely open to doing, more parades in the future. All show, no substance. See, I wouldn't agree with that because I'm not seeing a lot of show either. That's the thing, is there's no effort being put into the show of it. These guys get magazines for their rifle, do they? Yeah, yeah, you can see there's a mags there. So, like, you can do it. This parade is bad for what it represents. I won't disagree with you on that one. I do think that the cultural, like, layers behind the parade are horrible. I had a full discussion about that when we began this live stream, where I talked about, like, what my aim was for this live stream and how I wasn't, like, I wanted to talk about some things, I didn't want to talk about other things. But, yeah, no, I don't disagree with you that, like, while I love military parades, and I see nothing in problem with them in principle, like, the context around this parade makes it really weird, and I'm not a fan of that. But, you know, we're here for the parade itself, devoid of its wider context. Perseus, with another super chat, another tip. Thank you very much. I appreciate it again. Did you watch the Edinburgh Tattoos? I've not yet. Was it good? I won't ask you to do another donation just to tell me that yes, it was good. I'm sure it probably was really good. I'll watch some clips of it later on, I'm sure, like on my own time. Has the Surfshark Regiment passed by? No, I think they're going to be behind the PIA VPN, so we'll have to wait for them afterwards. Okay, seeing drones in a parade is pretty cool. Seeing the drones go by, I actually like that a lot. Now, when it comes to drones, the things that you can do with drones are actually really impressive. There should be, like, 500 of these things? Because, like, having it be one is kind of lame. Or two, I guess. It looks a little bit more lame when there's so few of them, but, like, if you could get, like, a little column of drones, that would be really cool to see. These guys, it's fine. They're not in step because they're in, like, a more of a skirmishing kind of order. It makes sense that they're not going to be in step. Like, that's fine. These guys look pretty good. They're in a pretty good step. It's good. They look good. Again, the music is really stupid, but, like, this part of the parade overall is pretty decent. You look, that's a vibe right there. This shot is really good. This I like. Again, like, mute the music and give me something more traditional, but, like, you know, otherwise, this is pretty cool. I like the fact that they're showing off the drones and the new technology. I kind of like the fact that they have like the camo and the night vision on. Like, you know, that I like that. That looks cool. The drones look really cool, actually, patrolling by. That's a really cool look. Okay, it's a little bit long to linger on the drone, but, see, this bit makes me fear the U.S. The other bits don't. Yeah, like the other, like that bit is like, whoa, we're pretty cool. Like this, like we're pretty awesome. Like the other, that doesn't really.
Designed as a troop transport tank killer and to match speed with an Abrams tank, the Bradley is a fierce fighting machine. The Bradley accompanies American troops off.
The drones look professional and well disciplined. The drones had a pretty good order going on. Yeah.
Because of its firepower.
His arm must be tired carrying that thing. Yeah, really. That's the other thing, is like a good parade is a sign of physical endurance and personal discipline to like withstand uncomfortable conditions and still like do a task, right? It should be a matter of pride for the individual soldier. Like his ability to hold that drone up as he's marching by in full kit down the parade, like that is impressive. That's cool. It's, you know. Same thing with like if you're wearing a ceremonial uniform and marching in order in perfect time with all the others, like that's an impressive thing to be able to show yourself doing. What's going on here? These guys are horrible. What are you making us do? This isn't a good idea. Stop it, you're not at a rock concert! What is that? It's like, that guy is basically saying, hey, this is all about me! Hey, yeah, there you go. It's not supposed to be about him. What in the world? What in the world? This does not look bad. Man, you weren't here earlier. What I would say is watch the VOD and you'll see some of the earlier stuff, and yeah, it looked bad. Some of those units were ridiculously bad. Flyby looks pretty good. A lot of helicopters. Lockheed Martin again.
Let's roll on to the future of Army readiness.
Ooh, okay, alright, so this is a bit, yeah, like some people are talking about the robot dogs. Ooh, yeah, there they go. That's really cool. This is awesome. Okay, so like this and the drones and the spec ops looking guy, like that looks good. Actual saluting. This is really cool to see. And like the helicopters flying overhead, like if the entire parade was up to this standard, that'd be awesome. I still hate the music. I really hate the music, but like, okay. See, like, if I didn't see any of the other bits of the parade, like any other bits at all, and I just like sat down and started watching and I saw that, like, I'd be like, whoa, all right. Like, they got it. They got something going on here. I'm not the biggest fan of the music, but like, that wouldn't be the worst offender because it all looks pretty good. They got the Chinooks. Like, this is looking pretty good. It's a massive flyover. They're showing off the tech. Stop with the waving. Get the arm down.
The Ghost Robot Dog is another innovation that can adapt seamlessly.
The dog looks really cool, though. That's cool to see in a parade. That's something, you know, that as well. I haven't seen that. That's not something that I've seen in parading before. Them using like this kind of technology. That's really cool. I like that. Ooh, that's a pretty cool vehicle. Got the helicopters zooming on by. Okay. Where were these guys the whole time? Yes.
The oldest unit at West Point. This is the United States Military Academy Band, ladies and gentlemen.
What's the bus? What's
West Point Band, Army Band, and the
what's going on back here?
This is the United.
Okay, This should have been what the whole parade looked like. What's going on back here, guys? Do you not have a separate staging area from where the parade is starting? This looks so good! They got nice kit. It looks sharp. They're in step. They have their shoulders back, for God's sake. These guys look good. I think if I were to make any changes, I would add a stripe to the trousers. But, like, as West Point... Yeah, the West Point... These guys look really good. They've got a pretty decent order going on. They're in good step. Like, yeah. They're clean, yeah. Honestly, like, being able to pull off, like, such a pale uniform is impressive. Because you gotta be spelled. They're losing their step a little bit there. Some of those guys are losing their step a little bit.
With the motto of duty, honor, and country, West Point trains the
but overall, pretty good. That was only one guy. Oh, and you know what, as well? You know what I saw one guy had lost his step, and he did the little skip to correct his step. He knew what to do. He was like, oh man, I'm messing up. Whoop! And he corrected himself. Like a soldier does. Like that. This looks good! Sharp kit. I like the West Point uniform. I'm not the biggest fan of the short Shako. I prefer taller Shakos. But, like, they look good. Man, imagine if this was like the whole uniform. Obviously, not like the whole, like, parade exactly that uniform. But, like, imagine if all of the parade was dress uniforms. And looking good. Hey, buddy, we... Oh, no, they were at eyes... Alright, okay, he missed it there. He missed the eyes front. But then we're back to these guys again.
Upon entering the United States Army, all recruits undergo initial entry training. A highly intense and a challenging training period aimed at developing a soldier's physical and mental toughness, instill discipline, train them in essential combat skills. And
so are these basically trainees?
Transform civilians into soldiers. Based on the 7 core.
Funnily enough, if those guys are meant to be like they're still in boot camp, their dress and their step is pretty decent compared with the actual like fully trained regulars that were up at the head. They were doing pretty decently. Were there any Civil War? There were some Civil War units. They weren't the worst. The Revolutionary War guys looked abysmally bad. The Civil War guys weren't the worst. West Point boys, looking sharp.
The Virginia Military Institute.
Oh, not West Point, Virginia. Okay, different academy.
Men and women educated for civilian life, prepared to serve their country in the armed forces.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was a thing.
A Nobel Prize winner, 11 Rhodes Scholars, generals, 7 Medal of Honor recipients.
That's a good-looking kit. I like the feathers on the Shakos. I prefer the ones that are more loose as opposed to like the really like sharp, like pointed ones, but they all look really good. They're well fitted for the most part, those uniforms. The belts are a little like drooping down. You can sort of see they're hanging down, but like that's a small issue. These guys look good. Nice sashes. Long sashes. That's interesting. Most sashes aren't that long. I kind of like it though. I kind of vibe with that. See, this looks good. That looks awesome right there. Yeah. Sharp, all white. It's a little, the outfits here are like a little, like, you see, they're a little wrinkly. I'm not a fan of that, but like, it's a different uniform at least, right? It's something sharp. It just seems like the material's a little cheap. Like, it looks a little too thin. If you thicken up that material, make it like a heavier wool, it'll be a lot more smooth on the base down, and that would look a lot better.
More than 120 students earn their commission each year through the Army Senior ROTC Palmetto Battalion, playing a vital role.
Yeah, why, like, the flipping students, have you noticed? All of the, like the cadets and the students and the trainees, they're having much better drill than the formal professional soldiers. That's not right, right? Ooh, look at those boots. Those are interesting. I like that.
Has remained building individuals that exemplify.
I can't say that I'm a fan of how the white sort of flares up on the interior like that. It looks a little funny to me. But like classic, sort of like World War II style, like flares out at the leg there. I like it. I never like short sleeves. Short sleeves never do it for me in a military uniform, but that looks pretty good.
92nd lieutenants and is honored to shape the future leaders of the U.S.
The boots make the step look cleaner. It definitely does. Definitely does. I wish tall boots were normalized. Man, here. Preach it. Yeah, like this whole sequence right there, that looks spectacular. Could you imagine if that was the whole parade? All right, you stepped off as one.
In a powerful display of commitment, these future soldiers will raise their right hand and take an oath of enlistment, pledging to serve our nation.
How are they gonna raise the right? I thought they were saying they're gonna raise the right hand on parade at first. I just mean theoretically, but like, if they were gonna do it on parade, ooh. Oh, okay, they're actually gonna do it here. Oh, that's kind of a vibe. I like that. That's pretty cool.
Doing it not for myself.
Alright, and we got the modern stuff. Again, no problem with that. That's pretty cool, but we can skip through it all. All the same. This is pretty cool, doing the ceremony at the actual parade.
And it wasn't
That's really cool.
At these 1,000 new cadets.
Passing out parade. See this? Why do we have these guys? Yeah, like that outfit. That looks good.
There's another institution in the country like West Point.
Give us some dress style uniforms. All right, and is all the rest?
So help me God.
I'm surprised he didn't burst into flames when he said that. No shot.
This next song was loved by
Wait, who is this? Who? What group? What band is this? Oh my god! This is how they ended, huh? This is. That's This is how they wrap it up, huh? You know, I realized I'm gonna have to mute because otherwise the it'll get me with a copyright or something. This is how they This is how they wrap it up, huh? Yeehaw! This is wild. So okay, like this isn't quite as bad as when it's not as bad as when the Australian Navy was commissioning a ship and they had like the twerking women band. That was like a whole other degree, but like this is not that much better in terms of embarrassment. We get this little like Trump montage, I guess, and then he's gonna give a speech. Is that it then? That's it? Yeah, that's it. Australia did what? What Australia did what? Yeah, that was the thing that the Australians did. We'll maybe cover that in the future. Oh, stream or something. Well, here, I guess I can show you all that. But yeah, there was like a not a twerking band, but there were women doing that like during the commission, as I remember. Australia Ship Commission. I hate having to even type that word. Yeah, here, this was a thing, apparently. It's a curious thing. I feel like it was yesterday. Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
He has tonight
yeah, this was at the commissioning of a warship, I believe, and they had this happening.
The ABC's coverage of gyrating dancers performing in front of our top brass.
That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other conversation. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that another day. That is something else. Okay, so for now, I get, and you know what as well? It ends with such a whimper, the parade. Like, it began without a lot. There was no, like, great speech, and, like, they had a gun battery, but, like, it sort of began very quietly, I feel like, and then it ended very quietly. Let's take a look at these Continental guys again. Let's take a look at little General Washington that they had. For all the people who didn't believe. I'm not going to do a rant about why it's so horrible, but hold on. Where were we? It was after the anthem. It was after their little history of the army spiel, blah, blah, blah. They entered, like, right into it. I was like, oh, this is actually looking pretty good. I had high hopes, actually. Well, not quite high hopes, because I had seen spoilers for it, but, like, you know, based on all of this, like, this all looks really good, right? Yeah. I'm not sure where the, yeah, there's our Washington! It looks horrible. And then look at how the Continentals were marching in. Alright,
the finest parachuting team in the world.
Oh, there they are.
By General Washington, both at home
oh, and we're right back here. Whatever. We're just gonna just mute it. Is that supposed to be why? I don't know if it was meant to be Washington, like, literally, but it was obviously, like, it's just, whatever he's supposed to be, it doesn't look good, right? It looked really, really bad. Jorge Washington. It didn't... Whatever. We skipped by it somehow repeatedly. I'm not sure where they are. Alright, everyone. It was earlier in the stream. Everyone saw it. Wow. Wowee, wow, huh? So, that was that. That was, definitely something. I'm not going to repeat all the sentiments that I expressed earlier in the stream. If you weren't here for the very beginning, it might be important for you to go back and watch that, just, like, get a sense of what my intention here was. I came into this mostly blind, and I came into it just as a pure means of respecting the art of military parade, and I was not impressed. I was not impressed in any way, and if you don't understand what my complaints were all about, if you feel like I was being way too harsh, then stay tuned for the next installment, because we're going to do another stream like this. Absolutely, we're going to be doing another stream like this at some point in the future. And maybe we'll watch a better parade. We'll do maybe the Trooping of the Color, or maybe something a bit more, like, unique that people haven't seen. Or I think I will watch the Trooping of the Color at some point in the future. But that being said, we're going to say, invaders, thank you very, very much. Thank you very kindly for your generosity. $4 is much appreciated. Oh, now I see what the acronym is for. I would rather not. It seems like that would be a very uncomfortable experience to engage in. Yeah, the entire point here, everyone, was just to talk about military parading in its artistry, whether it's good or bad or whatever, because you know what? Some of the world's most evil regimes can do a good, decent parade just as much as some of the best regimes in this world can. You know, the Russians do a good parade, the British do a good parade, and everything in between. I do not believe that this particular parade was a very good one, and if the intention was, you know what, one way or the other, whether the Republicans are right and this was a parade to commemorate and honor the fighting American soldier, to commemorate their sacrifices and their losses and all that jazz, I do not believe fundamentally that this was an effective ceremony at so doing. I believe that it did ultimately a rather poor job at representing the professionalism and the integrity, the endurance, and the discipline of the American Armed Forces. I think that it did not represent that very well. And if the most extreme of the Democrats are correct, and this was just nothing more than a puff piece for a wannabe fascistic dictator, then likewise, it really didn't do a good job of that, did it? It did not make Trump seem like a powerful, strongman leader. It did not make him seem like a scary or intimidating, dictatorial Hitler-type guy. Like, it didn't seem at all like that. What this felt like was unprofessional. it just didn't seem like it was very high effort. It was not inspiring of pride, nor was it imposing. It was just sort of lazy. It felt last minute. It felt like it was thrown together. A lot of the guys, yeah, they weren't even able to march in step when their own officers were directly in front of them. They had no discipline for actually making the salutes as they came by the commander-in-chief's booth. They were waving at the audience and pointing to the... One guy was literally doing this sign and pointed to the camera like, yeah, like, which is not how the military, in my humble belief, based on all that I know, I fundamentally do not believe that is an appropriate way for any nation's military to behave, regardless of the morality, of the legality, of the waste of money or wise expenditure or whatever. I'm not talking, I care about all that. I'm not talking about any of that. Regardless, this was not a good portrayal. You know, like, even the Nazis knew how to put on a good parade. Even the Soviets knew how to put on a really heckin' good parade. Just as much as, you know, the Papal States to the British monarchy to the French Republic. You know, they all know how to do good parades. Apparently, the United States does not. J. Cobb with £2 to take us out. You should do more live streams. This was great. I think that I shall. Sir. Much appreciated, much obliged. I'm going to see if I can't fix that keyframe frequency whatever for next time, and hopefully we'll get a smoother live stream experience as a result. But, yeah, with that, everyone, we shall, well, let's see here if there's any other... Did you see the clip where he said he wanted his people to treat him like... Can't say I've seen that, but, oh dear. Too relaxed is unprofessional, embarrassing. Yeah, it struck me as unprofessional. It struck me as a little embarrassing. So with that, everyone, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you all for being here. I hope that you enjoyed. This was, I think, the single largest live stream that I've ever done as far as pure audience is concerned. I hope that you all enjoy, and if you missed any part of it, then you can go back and watch the VOD, because I'm going to leave this one up as a public live stream. So with that, everyone, I give a pat to the bearskin pup over there, and I will say farewell. So until next time, au revoir, Godspeed, and